I'm not gonna say, that I'm fearless, because everybody fears something, The fear is there, but it's like how much you let that control you. I think I was a lot more confident than fearful, for sure. Walking to that fight, like I was pretty confident that I could beat him.
What was the source of that confidence?
My belief on me.
Okay,
I can take the word.
You can take anyone in the world, but is there specific strategic, like talking to Danaher, he believes that there's no such thing as confidence, or rather, the way you get confidence is through data, like that you have proven yourself effective in previous situations, but with Buchecha, you don't have much data. It was the first time you faced him was a very tough. That was also one of the greatest matches of all time. It was very tough. So doesn't that creep in, like that doubt, because you don't have enough data to be confident based
on? Yeah, I mean, okay, if I never have fought before, suddenly walk into a fight with someone like that, then would I be that confident? I mean, probably no. So that history of what we've been doing, what we've been achieving, does gives you confidence. If that was my first fight ever, I wouldn't be that confident.
But the time off,
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You don't have the fear or the actual physical experience, the psychological experience of being rusty, of being out of the competition.
That will come out on training.
So you simulate some aspect of that in the training.
Yeah, I mean, it's the training will tell you how you are.
Okay. Did you increase the intensity of the training leading up to this?
Yeah, I mean, I train normal. Let's say compared to the first fight, the second was a lot more confidence because, like I say on training, the training for the first fight, you were terrible. So,
what do you mean?
I think I was focusing MMA for a while, for a couple of months, and I wasn't really focusing the gi. And by the time I accept the fight and start training, like all my responses on training were off. Like all my training partners that I used to train with that I destroyed. I mean, now they're beating me. Yeah. It's like I cannot beat them the way I was used to. Mm-hmm. But so I knew something was not right for the first fight. But then it's no points. It's submission or draw. So
yeah, for people who don't know, it was in Mudder Morris, which is a 20-minute match, submission only. So the winner is determined only by submission. Otherwise, it's a draw.
So physically, I wasn't myself on that fight. I was tired. My body wasn't responding. Anyway, so the confidence was different from the first. The second, I think I was confident enough that I wouldn't get tapped out on the first. That I was still going to fight because he has to tap me out to beat me, and I trust on my defense. I'm confident enough on my defense that he will not tap me out. But in terms of winning, walking to the second fight, I was a lot more confident.
What can you say about that feeling when something's not right? Isn't that a thing that breaks people?
It's weird. Breaks. It's weird. Like people crack, they give up. This it's a big test because it's like being really tired. It's the same thing. It's like a lot of people crack because they just feel they cannot give in more. They have nothing more to give, so they just give up. It's too hard.
So what do you do? Just again take the thoughts out.
There's no giving up. I mean, I don't mind. I don't care. Just giving up is not an option. It's not.
That's always the way you thought?
Yeah.
About jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. I've never gave up. I mean, I tapped. It's, not giving up is not tapping. That's just stupid. Especially, doing training. I get caught, I tap. I've never, ever hurt myself by not tapping. You get angry, train hard, improve, make yourself better. You got caught. Accept that you made a mistake, give up, tap, then try harder. So, the not tapping, you're sacrificing your body and, you'll never be the same. Like if you let your elbow pop, the elbow will never, ever be the same, ever. Yeah. You let yourself go to sleep, your resistance drops. So everybody has a limit of resistance until to resist a choke before you pass out. The moment that you go to sleep, that resistance will drop. according
I've
to.
never heard anyone say that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
that's
people-
true. So so that's the reason, because people usually say
No,
you can
it's the same or you getting knocked out. You get knocked out the first time, your resistance dropped. Your jaw gets weaker. So
just for the record, I've never gone to sleep in jiu-jitsu, which means my resistance is high, right? I don't know.
Must be. Or your defense is pretty good.
I don't know about that. Because it doesn't make sense to me. Or maybe in my case, I think my understanding of when I'm screwed is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like there's no,
you know you're in trouble.
yeah. One of the things I regret the most about my jiu-jitsu journey is not having given enough time to being in really bad positions. Like the better I got, I think the less I started being in bad positions, which is
It's because
terrible.
you spar. That's like that is how you train.
Yeah.
Because you used to just spar. When you spar, like it's difficult to be in bad positions a lot. Unless you train with better people, but I mean, let's say 6 minute rolls. How long you're going to be in a really bad position? Not long, right? So you don't really have time to develop. That's why people, they don't train be in bad positions, because you have to start there over and over again to be used to it.
Yeah, or put yourself there. I just didn't have that mindset, I think. I think you start, I mean, part of the fun of jiu-jitsu is as you get better and better, you have certain people you go with, you have these puzzles that you've figured out, that you're playing very specific details, you're working out, you're trying to improve your main like techniques and so on. But yeah, just the percentage of time you spend being submitted or trying, even going against like lower ranks, trying to escape basic submissions is low. I don't know if that's true for most people. Probably is, right?
Most people have very bad defense.
Yeah.
Because they don't allow themselves to be there. Because, I mean, who wants to get tapped? Because you will. Until you work on your defense, of course, you're going to get tapped. Or, you're not going to escape. You're going to struggle to escape. So people, they don't want to be there.
I regret it most because of the effect it clearly had on how I competed. It was clear that my competition was constantly driven by conservative thinking, like don't take risks. I think because of a weak defense, honestly, and I think a lot of any of the fear, like for example, exhaustion was accompanied by fear because of weak defense. I think if I were to psychoanalyze myself, and I regretted it a lot. But speaking of which, I don't think anyone's ever submitted you in competition. So you're
Well, I was a juvenile, yes.
yes. So when you were a young person,
16.
Does that still haunt you?
No, first I was winning that fight by a large. I mean, I think by 6 points or 4, something like that. But I was done.
Still remember it though, huh?
By the details.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You ever beat him again?
He never competed again.
Whoever you are, please let's do a podcast again. We'll talk shit about Hadra the whole time. No, but what do you attribute that to? You're saying you were confident that the top of the world, the number one Buchecha, would not submit you. So where's that confidence grounded, and what do you attribute the fact that nobody was able to submit you?
First, it comes on training. I train a lot bad position. Like my defense is good because I practice over and over again. As much as I practice all my offensive position. So it's, you have to train both equally. It's not just be in a good position. You have to be in bad. So I think that's a very strong part of my game. To be a complete fighter, at least a complete martial artist, you have to be good in every single position, every single one. Those that you're not, you have a weakness. So it's, to be complete, you should have no weakness. So that was always my, I was always very particular on that. Like it's where my weakness, where I don't feel good at it. If you put me in a position to struggle, how do I escape? How do I get out? Everything. Any submission locked, penny position, back mount, everything. It doesn't matter which position I practice over and over again, so that if I get there in a fighting situation, I will know how to get out. At least I'll have a direction. I will know this is my way out.
Do you practice both escaping the bad position and
Always.
the transition into the bad position, avoiding it? Because that's how it happens. Jiu-jitsu, you start in a neutral position.
No, the transition then becomes the fight itself. It's being there is the most important. Is when you're there, then you have to know how to get out. That's your weakness. Stopping the person getting there is something different. So they're two different things. Either you practice one or the other.
So, but both are important, I guess.
Yeah,
but the stopping the person is easier to practice because that comes naturally in training.
Yeah.
What was the actual process? Like, what was your biggest weakness throughout your, just remembering what was annoying to you to figure out?
Side control is always
bottom of side control.
Bottom. It's regardless how much you practice, it's not ever easy. You'll never be easy. But
it's so annoying. It makes no sense.
Yeah, someone pins you down. He doesn't want to move much. He's a big and strong guy. Regardless of who, it's not going to be easy to escape. So some situations are just hard.
That must be sorry to interrupt. I'm interrupting Haja Gracie as he discusses jiu-jitsu. But you just made me realize, if you're really good, if you're going against like the perfect jiu-jitsu competitor, probably side control might be one of the hardest positions. Is it the hardest position to escape?
It's one of them. If the person doesn't want to progress, he's just concerned about
if they're stalling. Yeah. Like the best pinners in the world. I mean, partially because I've just seen judo people that know how to pin.
Yeah.
They
go escape their side control is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Doesn't matter how much you practice.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
And it's also just frustrating.
Yeah.
I guess it is also frustrating because a lot of people in that position will be about maintaining control, not progressing.
Yeah.
And usually people, when they're mount and in back control, are usually trying to progress towards a submission, which opens up opportunities for escape.
Yeah.
So what's the actual process of just time and time again, putting yourself in bottom of side control?
Yeah. Over and over again, starting there, escape, get back, escape, get back. If it mount you, get back. Any situation outside that, stop, start again. And it has to be, I'll say 5 minutes, because it's the repetition that will teach you. If you train like 3 minutes on top, you have time to, one thing, and then time out. It's the repetition that over and over again, that, when you try the same move over and over again, then you see what can go wrong.
And is it understanding the details of the movement or actually doing the movement and feeling it?
It's both. First, you have to understand the movement and then practice. But most important thing is defense. Escape coming second. Because if he's attacking you. The one thing is if he's not trying to submit you, but the other one, if it is. Let's say if a person is very good, has a very good attack. The first thing is defense. Not just escape. And expose yourself to an even worse position. Because that is very risky. When you're trying to escape, you'll always expose yourself to a worse position. So avoiding that, it's, first is defense, not getting caught. And then when you're escaping, don't be in a worse position.
So defense in jiu-jitsu, when you're wearing a gi, what does defense entail? Is it mostly grips? Is it mostly the positioning of your hips and legs?
It's everything together because it's a whole body movement. It's it's a constantly moving your arms, legs, body. They have to. Everything works together.